Welcome to today's coffee break webinar. VAS Tribology solutions provide value-added services in lubrication and reliability. We are India's only comprehensive lubrication services company. Lubrication Institute is a division of VAS Tribology Solutions. We are one of the leading companies providing training on oil analysis, machinery lubrication and equipment reliability. We have trained several industry professionals from leading companies throughout Asia. We are official training partners of ICML and Noria, USA, world's foremost company in lubrication. Oil analysis data has a wealth of benefits for those who utilize it properly. Sampling is the first step in the value chain of the oil analysis program. Taking good sample delivers valuable information and helps you make the right maintenance decisions. Let me introduce you to our speaker Andy Sitton. Our speaker is an ICML certified professional and has a rich industry experience. Thank you, and over to Andy.
So let's start with sampling. The oil analysis integrity chain starts here. And the slide here you're seeing, the old weak link in the chain sort of topic, right? And any one of these weak links could result in your oil analysis program not working very well. Well, here we are at the beginning of the chain here and talking about sampling, okay? Then we'll talk about sampling procedure, clean and correct sampling containers. The successful way to do a good sample, there are three objectives to good sampling. Three objectives are to maximize data density, minimize data disturbance, and to take the samples at the proper frequency. We'll talk about all three of those in this session. Okay? And some of the considerations that you might have for data density, data disturbance, and frequency are the sample location, the sampling procedure, hardware, the bottle itself, and sample documentation that goes with the sample. You also want to make sure that you don't disturb the data. So you don't want to add to the data by having bad bottles, bad sample methods, or bad location. And you don't want to take data away from the sample. And finally, you want to have the proper frequency. Size does matter, okay? And you can see here, I have one of our sample bottles. This is our 750 ml bottle. And we also have a 100 ml bottle and a 250 ml bottle, okay? So you should size your bottle accordingly to how full you fill it. You should never fill a sample bottle completely full, okay? And if you have too small of a bottle, what you might want to do is take several samples from the same sample point to represent one sample. Now over here, you see what we have: clean, super clean, ultra clean ratings. This is ISO tests, they're saying. Refer to ISO 3722 for the test procedures guidelines. Here's another chart showing you the same cleanliness definitions, okay? And what is do one of these patch tests, get some ultra clean fluid, mix it around in a new bottle, and then filter it through a patch. And if you've got anything visible, basically that means that, it doesn't meet the ultra clean, okay? All right, so ask your bottle supplier, what's the cleanliness certification on our sample bottles, okay? The access options for taking an oil sample. Now, one of the most important issues here for access is employee safety. You can't ask an employee to go out and take a sample from the best sample location if that best location is in a dangerous area, right? So you've got to have a safe area to be able to withdraw the sample. To do that, the best and most recommended way is to use a sampling valve of some sort. Okay? I'll show you, I don't know if you can see them that well here. Oh, let's see. Here we have what is called just a mini mess valve. And a mini mess valve is a valve, it's a hydraulic valve, basically. It has threads on one side, NPT type threads, and it has threads on the other side. It has a spring actuated pin inside, and you have a O-ring inside here. You can screw it back on. They have various pressure ratings. Even the worst come, I think, around 700, 600, 700 PSI. Your oil laboratory can probably provide you with more details on the type of valves, or you can get creative and go down to the hydraulic shop, right? The next item we want to show here is a mini mess valve attached to a piece of stainless steel tubing. So what is this used for? Well, this is very useful for taking samples that are only accessible, let's say, from the bottom of a reservoir, but we don't really want the sample to come from the bottom of the reservoir. We want it to come from somewhere in the middle of the reservoir. So we can buy accessories like this. We'll show you more of this in some drawings that are coming up. Okay. Most of these valves, okay, come with a probe that assembly. So there's no oil going to come out of there until such time as you put this on, screw it in, right? And then now it's on a piece of tubing, and then as you see here in this first picture, this is a sampling valve, and then we've got the little probe that goes on. This all comes away as the technician leaves the site there. Okay. Next picture on the middle here, you see, is a tap valve and a drain plug, right? Probably the least preferred way of taking the sample, unless you want to know something about the condition of all the garbage that is built up on the bottom of your reservoir. Sometimes that is an objective to taking a sample, okay? But you don't really want to monitor that on a routine basis, right? So drain plug sampling, probably the least preferred. I have seen teams of 2 people go out and using a good deal of common sense and a good deal of cooperation between the 2 members trying to take drain samples, getting fluctuating results. And then they switch over to a sample valve that is positioned somewhere different, and they start to get more realistic data from their oil samples. And the other least preferred, but not too bad, is called the drop tube. So we have a sample pump with a sample bottle. We have a piece of tubing that goes into the components. Now, kind of a nice way of doing it. One of our problems here is getting that tube to go where you want it to go. And secondly, you have to shut the machine down. Obviously, you don't want to be putting a piece of tubing around there with all the gears moving, right? The sample on the left, yeah, it's kind of obvious that we're going to get sludge and sediment on this sample. Look how we took the sample, right? Some live zone do's and don'ts, okay? 90-degree angles. You see here a mini mess valve installed at the 90-degree angle, okay? And that is the preferred method, okay? Because as the oil is flowing in this direction and then it takes a turn downwards, you're going to get turbulent flow in this 90 degree, right? that's where you want to take the sample. If you took, in this example, in the mini meth valve installed in a flowing line, and what happens if you have large particles in this oil, after flowing, they will move themselves to the outside of the laminar flow. Okay, so the very middle of the fluid flow will be absent of particles. All the particles will be flowing on the outside. So if possible, try to locate your mini mess valve in a turbulent zone area right after a 90-degree angle. You want to be downstream of the oil lubricated components. Okay, so you want turbulence downstream of the components that you're lubricating and upstream of the filters. Okay. The opposite of that is don't take samples from a dead volume area. Don't take samples from laminar zones. That's what they're showing here. Okay. Don't take samples after filters unless you want to check on the filter effectiveness. Then you might take a before filter and after filter sample. And also make sure that the machine is in a running, operating temperature and flowing condition. Okay. So this is live zone sampling.
In short, correct and accurate sample collection is the first step in the oil analysis process. Sample extraction can either lead to overall success of oil analysis program or lead to its failure. It should be taken seriously and be performed with the utmost care and diligence. It is not enough to simply fill a bottle with oil from the system. You must perform this task properly to accurately trend the data you receive back from the lab. Also, the investments in designing and implementing a world-class lubricant sampling program will be rewarded with higher quality program results, and your decisions can be focused on improvements and equipment reliability. We will be covering the next steps of effective oil analysis program in our upcoming webinars. If you really want to take a deep dive into the world of foundational to advanced oil analysis information, including oil sampling, lubricant health monitoring and much more, join us in our upcoming trainings. Our next training on Oil Analysis Level 2 is scheduled from 21st to March 23, 2023. This will be live online, and you will be able to clarify all your doubts with the trainer during the training. This 3-day extensive training prepares you for ICML certification. Investment for this training for Indian residents is 39,000 rupees, inclusive of GST. However, for participants who have attended the coffee break webinar and register within 24 hours from now, you have a special deal. The training charges will be 35,100 rupees, including GST, and you will also get a copy of Lubrication Engineer's Handbook immediately on registering for the training program. Overseas special offer prices are available on request. We also offer self-paced courses. This is specially crafted for busy executives who cannot take out 3 days continuously for live online courses. Some of the main features of this training option includes ICML certification preparation, NORIA skill development content, a special 2 hours doubt clearance session, no travel or hotel expenses, 90 days access to complete the course. Visit our website www.lubrication-institute.com for more details on trainings. We have this question from our participant. For critical and significant machines, why OEM does not provide a ready-made sample collecting point?
Many times the manufacturers do provide those kinds of things, but when we buy equipment on the bid or tender process, the suppliers of the equipment start cutting these things. Like, oh, wait a minute, they want an extra quality filtration system? No, we're going to take that out. Oh, they want sampling points? Oh, forget that. That's not required. It's like buying a car. Do you want to buy the car with the manual transmission, no stereo, no bad tires, etc.? Or do you want to buy the deluxe model? The answer to that question is many OEMs do provide it. Sometimes they don't make the customers aware of it, or sometimes it's actually been taken out because of, well, we reduced the price on this machine, so we're going to take some of the nice options off.
Other questions which are asked during this webinar will be answered via email.